Welcome to the Change Life Destiny podcast, where healthcare is being reimagined one conversation at a time. We spotlight the people, innovations, and ideas moving us from sick care to self-care and from reactivity to true prevention. This season was recorded live at the CLD conference, a place to connect, learn, and build a new future together. Get inspired at changelifedestiny.com. Let's dive in.
Hello and welcome to the Changing Life and Destiny Conference here in Dallas, Texas. I'm your guest host, Dr. Chris Motley. I'm the host of the Ancient Health Podcast, and I had the great privilege of coming down here, doing some great interviews. I have a very interesting and brilliant guest, Kim Ressler, who does SNIP Nutrigenomics.
Correct.
And it is a company that, just researching it just now, it's one of the most interesting that we're getting into it. We didn't want to go too far into it because we want to save something for the podcast.
Absolutely.
But thank you so much. This is last minute. You came on, and I really appreciate you doing this.
No, Dr. Chris, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. It's great when you get to work with like-minded people pushing forward in health and wellness.
That's truly. I think one of the things that I'm most grateful for in these types of conferences is that people are very inquisitive, and they really want to know root causes and trying to find out what's below the surface. So first of all, I do like to find out about the person I'm talking to. So can you tell us, maybe a quick snippet about yourself, or just give us some information?
Absolutely. I live in Laguna Beach, California. I'm the mother to 4 children. 3 are adulting now.
Wow. You have 3 adulting, okay, what's age range?
28 down to 17.
Wow. Was it hard when they after they leave the nest or are leaving the nest? How was that for you?
I think what's going to be the hardest is when the 17-year-old, the baby, that when she leaves, I think I'm going to want to follow her.
It'll be like that movie where the mom goes with her to college.
Yeah. We've already talked about maybe we'll just buy a house or, within 45 minutes of wherever she goes.
She's going to be like, okay, Mom, enough's enough. No, but if you have a great relationship with them, that's great, though.
Yeah.
Well, that's really great.
So that's family. I have an amazing husband who has been absolutely so supportive in this journey of me launching this company. And it's all, I tell people it's more of a God thing. I really feel that this technology was gifted to me to take it to the world.
Wow. And you had that gifting come down, and how long ago was it?
Well, I had my own health challenges. I think like so many people get into the health and wellness space because my background's legal publishing. Okay.
Oh, yeah. So and, you know the legalities of things. So that's great. Yeah.
But it was during my pregnancy with my 17-year-old. They saw some interesting things in my blood work at first, and off I went to see a specialist, and we never, standard of care. They never dug deeper. So after the delivery, I didn't feel well. And when you hear so many other people's stories, it was the chronic fatigue. And then it was the terrible sleep. I couldn't sleep through the night. And then it was the chronic gut issues. It was just the symptoms over time, they just kept compounding. And then it was decreased libido. I mean, it was chronic. I mean, if I could tell you all the woes that I was dealing with, so I did it. I was trying everything. People would say, oh, it's postpartum depression. I'm like, I'm not depressed. I just don't feel good. So, and after the delivery, all my blood work was just totally normal and standardized, right? And so I would go and I'd go to the doctor and trying to figure it out. And they're like, everything's fine. You walk away feeling depleted and you deflated, and you're just going, they say I'm fine, but I don't feel fine. What do I do? So I started seeking out different. I went Ayurveda for a complete year, complete Ayurveda diet. I went vegan. I tried cleanses. You name it, I did it for 11 years. And then, I think it was 2014, my girlfriend said, my son is ADHD. They're telling me from school. He's really starting to struggle. And I won't put him on medication. And I think it's a genetic marker. And I watched her spend $10,000 in 9 months. I was like, you've got to keep me posted. You're desperate when you don't feel well. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And I said, you just have to keep me posted. So they addressed a gene. And they also took him off of gluten, a night and day different child.
They totally just...
So I hope that this makes you and anybody that's listening to this get really excited about understanding my mission for this is we need to know there are certain things that we could know through our genetics at birth for growth, development, etc. And it could just change. If addressing something like that, so simply and naturally, I was like, wow, that's amazing. I wonder if this is what I need to do. However, she spent $10,000 in 9 months. And I was like, wow. And so the old classic way of doing genetic mapping was you start with a pathway and you map it, and you go out the door with 5 or 6 supplements. You come back the next month, they map another pathway. Suddenly you're on 60, 70 things.
That's exactly what you'll see. Like, people get upset because I used to try to do some for patients. I have like 15 to 20 things. They're like, I can't do that.
Right. It's too confusing. It's costly. And then, I mean, we have busy lives.
Yes.
And how many, oh, you got to take this before breakfast, this with breakfast, this after. Oh, now this before lunch, this with. I mean, your whole day becomes pill jars and little things with notes. I mean, it's nuts. The average person can't do that. And I mean, and when I say the above average person can't do that even, I mean, that's exhausting. So hence the reason for SNIP.
Oh, I mean, when you found out, like, when you could change a person's expression, is that correct? Like, when a person, because out there they're going to say, well, I have a child, and you could do a gene test, and they're going to be like, what do you mean? So you can change what the expression of the gene? Is that how it works?
Ultimately, yes. So let's talk about what nutrigenomics is and genetics. Okay. Let's just go to 101 really quick. So we're all blessed with genes from our parents. Thank you, Mom and Dad.
Thanks,
right?
Mom. Thanks, Dad.
But we have non-actionable and actionable genes. Okay. Non-actionable, I can't change your eye color. Okay. Yeah. Your propensity to have a unibrow, I'm sorry. If that's the case, I can't do anything about it.
What are you saying, Kim? Let's get it.
But there are genes that are what we call actionable, which means, yes, you can change the expression. And then there are nutritionally actionable genes, which means we know specifically these, and they're commonly found in the mass population. These aren't rare. We're not looking at rare genetic mutations. I'm looking at things that impact healthy lipids, body's ability to detox the bad cholesterol.
Yes.
There are genes that deal with the immune system that are actionable. Inflammation, gut health, methylation. Everything's the rage about methylation, and everybody's talking about it, right? And it kind of turns on and off everything in layman's terms, right? Turns on and off everything. But you can't just address methylation. You also have to address oxidative stress.
Wow.
And so you start putting all of these key genes together, and we simplify it. We've done the science. And I can take all of this information and custom compound for somebody into one supplement. Upwards of 70 ingredients.
Okay, that's why you hear the silence, because correct me if I'm wrong, Kim, though, like, as in, when I would do my best, do some genetic research on some patients, when you see a SNP, or you see a variant or a defect, I hate to use the word, and you're right, like, if it's not just like MTHFR, maybe it's something with nitric oxide or something with, like, their body's ability to actually take sugars into their Krebs cycle, and you look at all of them, and they're going to be taking a B1, a B2, maybe a certain B12, then they have to take a certain vitamin mineral. So you could take all those and put it into a pill.
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow.
No, I mean,
that's amazing.
We have a 22 SNP panel that we custom compound on.
Yep, that's perfect.
And we actually, at our company, we test 103 genes. Okay. The reason that we do is, one, you want to see additional information, right? I mean, but then the 22, they virtually hit all the body systems. They're the heaviest hitters. They have the most science and research behind them about the nutrition that will help optimize, as you said, to help change the expression. We know that nutrition's one spoke in the wheel, but I'm foundationally you.
Wow.
I'm foundationally you, heavy hitting heart markers, inflammatory, detox markers, immune, methylation, gut health, body mass index, energy, mood. We hit all of these key areas. This is what you heard my symptoms, right? I mean, the fatigue, the terrible digestion, the things, right? And when I addressed them all, I was like, this has to be a placebo effect.
Because you were feeling better.
I felt amazing. And I was like, this is crazy. Could this truly be possible?
Wow.
Month 2 of addressing genetics. I think that another thing is everybody's looking for like the magic pill. There isn't a magic pill, right? We don't get sick overnight. We don't heal overnight. Month 2, I didn't feel as well. And I was like, what's going on? My body was going through some repair. By month 3, it started to come back. I was like, I stayed the course taking my customized product. And I was like, wow, I'm feeling great. Into month 4, it was, so the red blood cell cycle, 4 months, right?
Yep.
And at the end of month 4, I was like, wow, I've done some major repair work here. And the chronic joint mobility issues I had.
Gone? Wow.
I mean, and I had lost weight. And I'm a small person. And I call it tomato face because I really didn't need to lose weight, but it was like inflammation weight that I had lost. And it was a lot of it. I mean, I looked different. My skin looked, and yes. So I thought, if this changes my life like this, and this is this simple, what could it do for the masses?
Yes.
And there I started my journey.
Wow, I want to do it, so I'm going to connect with you after this and do it, because I've done some gene therapies on my own trying to learn more about it. So when that time came and you started taking your products and you're going to do it for the masses, was it at the beginning you saw the way to help individuals? So like you were taking, when your friend came to you with the issues like, okay, we need to check your genes or we need to get genes checked. What gave you that idea to like put them all into one? Like that's what I love.
Actually, a dear friend bought the technology from a group of doctors and scientists from the Human Genome Project.
Wow.
He's the one that brought it to me and shared it.
Wow.
And yes, and so I mean,
amazing.
this has kind of been, it was the start of the journey, and I believe that we have the ability to literally shift the trajectory of healthcare, of understanding. Everybody says they're biohacking. How are you biohacking if you don't know your strengths and your weaknesses? We need to start with you.
That's right. And so when you do a gene test and you're starting with you, because there are so many great biohacking devices, but if we did start at the basis of our genes, knowing our particular genetic structure
and strengths and weaknesses,
and we fortify what we need to, that would actually, I'm not saying negate some of the biohacking, but it would actually be the foundation of what you would need.
That's exactly what we call it. It's foundational. Is it meant to be the end all be all? No. But let's help bring your body back to homeostasis. It's plant-based nutrition. A lot of it's plant-based nutrition for these genes that's been proven, right?
Wow.
It's vitamins, minerals, micronutrients in the right format. Did you know there's a gene that dictates how you absorb CoQ10?
Wow.
Do you need a biquinone? Do you need a biquinol? Or do you need a combination of both?
That's a big, I mean, for people out there, it is, because when I check with patients, they do need either one. Yeah.
Yeah, one or the other, or the combination of both. But cofactors in all this are important, right?
Yeah.
And too. So for proper absorption, utilization. But if we can help bring the body back into homeostasis, in other words, metabolize, your metabolism is working more optimally. Your detox pathways are working. If we're not detoxing, we're holding on to toxins in our body, right?
Yeah.
If we can see these major pathways and we can support them and bring you there, then you can step in and you can do your other. I mean, I love all kinds of other therapies. Why not? I mean, it would just be elevated, amplified, right?
Yeah. Is that why, for instance, if somebody did, for example, like a red light sauna, and that some individuals would come to you and go, hey, Kim, I feel fantastic. And then another person goes, I detoxed like heavy and I felt pretty bad. So if you gave a person the right nutrients and they were able to, like you said, after your 3 to 4 months, so the body has to catch up in some way and then try to detox naturally with your methylation. So then you would have a bit better propensity not to detox as bad in a red light if you were taking some things to help support your nutrients or your
no,
genes.
you would detox. The hopeful would be that you. I mean, we live on planet Earth. We breathe the air. I'm sorry, there's toxins, right? I mean, but if we were supporting, your detox pathways, maybe. We hope that you're going to be detoxing all of that stuff better. That's it. But that's the beautiful thing.
Yeah.
We know nutrition, again, as I always say, it's one spoke.
Yeah.
It's your lifestyle. What are you putting into your body? What's the water you're drinking? What's your connection to whatever higher source, right? Are you dealing with your stress good? Because this turns on and off things. So we come in, and genes don't play just one role. That's where. So in the past, you'll see somebody say, if you've got this gene, avoid this nutrient.
Yeah.
Dosing matters. And because then you're going down this rabbit hole of confusion. Well, if you've got this, don't take this. And then if you've got this, take this. And you're going, wait, that's contradictory information.
Yeah, totally.
So again, dosing matters. That's what we're able to do. And we can see. But let's say I tell you, I look at these 22 key heavy hitting genes that truly impact us in what I would say they can impact an adult onset disease, right? So we're not going after disease state genes per se, okay? But these genes are heavy hitters, and if I look at these 22 that we are, and then I see that in there you have a lot of glitches, variants on detox pathway. Your detox pathway, I'd take you into the detox report and I would say, take a look, because now we tell you, instead of this gene's broad function, what's its role in detox? And then I give you a whole bunch of epigenetic and lifestyle hacks, such as, hey, red light therapy would be really good for you.
No, that's amazing.
And if you're still struggling,
yes,
you should consider working with your provider and asking him possibly to do this type of testing. Maybe it's your body is flooded with glyphosates. Maybe you are flooded with heavy metals, and maybe you need to dig deeper to help get that detox pathway moving. Oh no, we don't believe we're the end all be all. We want to empower people to know that they are in charge of their own health and wellness, because you are.
Yes.
And we want to empower them with education, as well as providers with education, because I'm sorry, genetics are complicated. But if you could understand, hey, I see my patient has a lot of detox markers, they're still struggling. Oh, here's some good ideas. I didn't realize, because I haven't worked in this capacity before, mold could be causing problems. Oh, let's do that mold test. Or send them to somebody else that understands that.
Wow.
So yes, it's all start, and it becomes very powerful because it's you.
I love the way that when you can see the concept of, like, if somebody has the toxins built up, if the cell is holding on to something, like if you encourage your genes to express themselves healthily, that means you could have better capacity to pull up toxins that could be deep down in the body that were hiding, and now you can give them a formulation. You need this, and so maybe you will detox a little bit, but you need all that stuff to come out, and then your genes can properly express themselves.
But then we can give you additional epigenetic and other things to dry brushing. We can give you other information to help your journey.
Okay. So you give extra input, along with the genetic testing to actually express even healthier. And so some individuals out there would say to you, all right, Kim, well, I have genetics. My family always has high cholesterol. I'm going to live with high cholesterol for the rest of my life. I've got to take Lipitor and such. But you're like, with this type of testing, you can say, no, you don't have to live like that. We can actually help your cells do what they need to do with your cholesterol.
At a cellular level. Yes. We can support the body. I mean, again, nutrition's one component. What's your diet like, right? Like a few different modifications. But that's the thing with most people. If you give them one modification, they can adopt it.
Yep.
Well, now that if we get feeling better, we can add in another, because when we feel better, we do better.
Exactly
we just do.
right.
We just
exactly
do.
Right.
But yes, there are genes that could show us, hey, your ApoB gene, sorry, and this is alphabet soup, it has the propensity to function optimally, right? That is your healthy lipids. It's the integrity of the cell wall, how it repairs and communicates. It's great. And I've seen this happen so many times. Somebody in their young 30s will come to me and go, the genetics aren't correct because I'm in my young 30s and it's my healthy lipids, I don't have any variants. And then I walk down through their report and I see there's a gene that talks about how we detox the bad cholesterol. And I'm like, oh no, it's exactly right. And if you can see here, it's obviously not functioning optimally. You've got some variants on it. You need some support. A Mediterranean diet would be good for you if you could adopt that. And then let's support at a cellular level. But it's not just supporting that. It's taking all of these key components to support them together.
So I love the way you're putting this, because is it because, like, let's say somebody feels that they're pretty healthy, like I'm in my 20s, I'm fine, but they get this testing done. You could take a gene test and you could say there are some SNPs here that could be activated, turned on or off if you were in a toxic environment. And it would express itself like after 30 or 35, you're like, I'm not feeling so good. It's like because they
okay, I got a funny story for you.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's really interesting. I think I've done over 8,000 DNA report reviews,
Heavens.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm this person that you and I could talk for a few minutes and I probably know where your variants are going to be.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Anyway, so when I'm reviewing a DNA report with somebody, that classic case that you drink when you were in college.
Yeah.
And you didn't have a problem with it. You just didn't. You didn't wake up with a terrible hangover, but now you're suddenly an adult and you have one glass of wine and you have the worst hangover in the world.
Yeah.
There's genes and I can see it.
Wow.
I can see it.
You can see it.
I can see it. And I'm right. I'm right and on target every time.
So you could tell a person if they did it, you're getting headaches when
well,
you drink.
I could say what I can tell them is, and I know some people are like opposed to having a glass of wine, but I can see, I would literally say, I would say to them, do you ever have a glass of wine, a martini, or whatever? I used to, but I get the worst headaches now. And I'm like, so that's how I know that gene is not functioning optimally.
Wow.
And they're really going to benefit, right, in that regard. And it's not to say now that you've addressed it, you're going to go out and start, drinking wine every night. It's not to say that. It's just, so if you think of, this is like how I like to tell people what nutrigenomics, what the impact can be. When we are born, we do not come out of our mother's womb unless you have a rare genetic disease or something. But we don't come out of our mother's womb with chronic inflammation, with gut issues, with depression, etc.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
And we all are blessed with these genes, and they either get activated or don't. And we live in a toxic environment.
Yes.
So not only toxic, we live stressful lives.
That's right.
So if we could come in and support them at that cellular level, keep the body functioning optimally, what kind of changes could we make in the human population and health?
It's amazing. So I know we could keep talking. I know your time's precious, but I can go further into this. So it'd be that even at a young age, they don't have that when they come out of the womb. If you had a population or had people learn their genes and fortify them, that means that they would have a greater propensity to resist the toxins, as in the effect of it. Like they could live a life where it's not bothering
or even
so
think,
much.
Remember, my girlfriend introduced me first to nutrigenomics because she was unwilling to put her son on ADHD medication. So now, and we know that methylation pathway, we know. If you look it up, MTHFR gene mutation symptoms, just that gene.
Yeah. Anxiety,
depression, schizophrenia, women in childbearing years can't get pregnant, spina bifida, common and recurrent miscarriages, chronic aches and pains. I mean, it's mood swings. It's all of those things, right? Well, the science is there. It's been there for a long time. Why aren't we addressing it?
Yes. Why aren't we addressing it?
Why aren't we addressing it? And why aren't we? This is natural. Now, am I to say that, pharmaceuticals are fine when needed, but if you knew this and you could offset, what kind of changes would we make?
Wow. So if you knew, like with ADHD, that there were certain genetic SNPs that you could use a nutrient to help activate the gene properly, to help you with like the attention deficit, that's the pathway, like you could actually help the expression.
Well, it's part of methylation. So, I mean, if you address that, it can impact so many things.
Wow.
And again, am I saying this is 100%? No, I don't know your lifestyle, don't know your diet. Are you moving your body? Are you doing all these other things? But I've seen it. And I haven't just seen it once or twice. I've seen it hundreds of times over, or thousands actually.
So when a person says, okay, my mom had ADHD or ADD, and then they start to see themselves start to have the ADD in their own body, like, oh, I'm just going to be like my mom. It's because that gene is not working properly that would help them like negate the ADD. Is that like, I hope
well,
that's
basically, but it's not an ADD gene. And ADD ultimately is influenced highly from the methylation pathway.
Yeah.
So again, genes don't play alone. They all start working together. Mm-hmm. I mean, the body is an amazing thing. And the more I learn, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But you start you get all these pathways optimized and functioning. The body does naturally what it needs to do. Example, another example, and I don't know how much time we've got, but when an individual does have markers on their methylation pathway, okay, let's just say that, and I'm gonna step away from that, and I'm gonna talk about people being anemic.
Yep.
Okay. So many times I have seen people that'll come to me and they'll go, "You said this customized supplement would be everything, and I'm anemic." And I'm like, well, if you want to keep taking your iron, do. But once you address the methylation and other key components, and I've seen this happen hundreds of times, when you do, the body starts naturally absorbing iron from the food you eat.
Oh, wow.
And I've seen it over and over and over.
Wow.
I mean, we've been tracking one lady specifically that had to go. She'd already done the genetic mapping. She was one of those people taking 50, 60 supplements a day. And then we introduced, and she was still anemic. She was going to get 5 iron injections every 3 to 6 months. And ever since she's been on her customized, she sends us her, and you can see it. She hasn't even had to have an iron injection since she's been on our customized product.
Wow. Oh man. So it's explained to me, like I'm a visual person. So it'd be like, MTHFR is a cycle in your cell, but it's like cogs, like wheels and gears. Like one is turning, you have to have the right nutrients to make the other ones, and they're kind of working together. And it's all the nutrients are working together. The system's working together.
Thank you. You just said it. Systems have to work together. Genes don't play alone.
Got you.
They all start and so we picked all of these key genes that hit all these body systems that are very, very important. Mm-hmm. Like I already said them all, right?
Yep.
And they're very, very important. Do they impact other areas of the body? Yes, they do. But that's how we can take that information and share, and we do a ton of education around it, whether it be bone health and estrogen metabolism, because they still impact, but then at certain points of life, our bodies change, and we may need to do additional and extra.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we've had you covered foundationally.
No, this is so good. So when the systems work together, you can learn about your genes through your process, through your products, and then the expression, like you said, you can always adjust as you age. If there is a natural portion of life, like you're going through menopause, or men are dropping a little bit of testosterone, maybe there's something else we need to add in there.
Absolutely. Wow. Absolutely.
Okay, this is really good.
Again, I mean, there's no magic pill. There's no magic bullet. Everybody, there is just not. However, the fact that we can customize just for you, effectively, efficiently, with what science says.
Yes.
And very, I mean, it's cost efficient.
It is totally cost efficient, because like if you're taking a test and that's your genes, right? The expression.
They don't change. They don't change.
But you're going to customize, and it makes it very easy and accessible to the person, because we're like, no, we're customizing it for you. You don't have to think about it. This is the explanation, the education. Take this, and you can get strengthened from it.
Well, I mean, and I think that's the other thing. I mean, I came out of retirement for this, to run this, to launch this company. Just okay, and it's truly because I believe we can change the trajectory of healthcare. I really do. I've had geneticists look at my formula, the ones that do the mapping, and they're like, I have never seen anything like this. And I understand. She's like, you're 95% correct for 100% of the population. The 5% you're not, it's just they're really sick and I have to address a few other things. But I want the way that we do our genetic test, it's a one time. I'm not going to charge you for multiple reports.
Yes.
Not going to do that.
Yeah.
I want the masses to be able to afford this.
Yeah.
And then I custom compound for you at a very, very reasonable amount that literally if I pulled it apart, you would spend definitely 5 times as much in getting the ingredients off the shelf.
Well, I'm going to do it. I think this is amazing. And I'm so grateful that you came to me and talk about this. And I know the people out there listening are going to want to know how to get this started. So where can they go on like Instagram or on Facebook, or where can they go to find you?
Our YouTube channel is amazing. So as well. So, Instagram at SNIP Nutrition. Our website is www.snip, S-N-I-P. It was named because of single nucleotide polymorphism, right? People,
that's 3 times fast.
Say that fast, right? But they call them SNPs. But we wanted to make it so that you could spell it, and we didn't want to leave it. So it's snipnutrition.com. So you can find out more. But we've got an amazing blog. When a person becomes one of our clients, they get to sit in on any free education that they want to, as we do free calls every month, which we also house them in an educational portal in somebody's account. We want to make this simple, and there's going to be certain things in life. Maybe you're dealing with a gut issue, and you're going to want to go back and listen to a recording that we did. Or like you said, maybe you're going through menopause. What if the missing link was getting you at a foundational level so that you had less menopausal symptoms?
That's right. And like you have a level playing field. It's like we can get you to this nice level place, and then you could always add in whatever you need to later.
I think that's the thing that's so important to me, and understanding all of this is everybody, like I did for 11 years, kept looking and looking and looking for answers, throwing money at this and that and this. When I addressed my genes, everything changed.
That's right.
It was me.
And
now, do I do other things? Absolutely, I do other things besides this. Because again, it's not the end all be all.
That's right. It's icing on top of the cake because you got to the foundation of it, which is your genes.
Absolutely.
Wow. Man, okay, I've got to get your contact info. This is great.
Absolutely.
Again, everybody out there, you've heard the info. There's education. I can't explain it as well as she can, so I would go to the YouTube and check. I love genes. I love learning about SNPs. This has been very eye-opening, and I really appreciate you taking your time to explain it. And I like the bare bones, and you did it very well and very clean, and I appreciate that.
Oh, no, thank you. I mean, to share this message, I appreciate it. It's been great to be on here because I appreciate the opportunity that you've given me to share what our mission is. That's
right. This is great. So everybody out there, it is true that if you really want to know the foundations of who you are, get gene testing done. We're going to put your links at the bottom of the show notes in the captions. Awesome. So we'll make sure that the team has that. And we're really thankful that you came today.
No, thank you so much.
Guys, from everybody here at the Changing Life and Destiny Conference, we really appreciate you guys joining us today. So if you have any more questions, just connect with her. Send her a message. And from all of us here, have a great day. Thanks.
That's a wrap for today's episode of the Change Life Destiny podcast. If you loved what you heard, share it with a friend and follow us for more bold conversations and breakthrough ideas. Ready to take the next step? Visit changelifedestiny.com to join the movement. See you next time, and keep diving in, learning, and leading the change.